Well, hey there, welcome to Sea Life Central. We've created a portal for our internships to use as a resource some of the key ideas and values that we want to express here at Sea Life. And today, I want to tackle what I believe is the greatest challenge facing every single leader, every single organization, every single coach. And the greatest problem facing leaders today is to convince every single person on their team that they are a leader and that they have influence. And I have to admit to you that I didn't always hold this position. When I first started teaching 15 years ago, I was in the classroom, I was coaching a team, but I always believed that leaders were people that were positional and that had power and influence, but I never thought of myself as a leader. And so I thought about the superintendent being a leader. I thought about the principal being a leader. I thought about maybe the head varsity basketball coach being a leader, but I never thought about myself being a leader because in my mind, I didn't believe that I had a position of leadership. I believed that I was just a worker. And I also believed that leadership was kind of something you were born with. It wasn't something that you really developed. But what I've learned over time, as I've been in leadership positions, as I've been an employee, as I've just kind of been around organizations, what I've come to realize is that every single person is a leader and every single person has influence. And the greatest challenge facing leaders today is to try to get every single person on your team to realize the potential that they have to lead and influence others. I believe that the greatest challenge facing leaders today is to convince their team of this. I think we make the classic mistake when we think about leadership because we think of leadership as positional. Unless you have a title or a position, you're not a leader. But here's what I want to tell you. As an intern at Sea Life, you are considered a leader of this church. And I want to spend the next few minutes convincing you of this fact. Well, if leadership is not positional or it's not a title, then what is leadership? Here's what we would say. A classic definition, I don't think it's new, I think it's a classic definition, but I think it's so very true, that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's simply getting people to follow you and move in a desired direction. If you are doing that, you are having an influence on others and you are leading them in a positive direction. Let me give you some examples of good leadership. It's a coach getting a team to work together, not worrying about accolades or personal accomplishments or personal goals, but getting them to lay that aside for the good of the team. It's the CEO of a company who says, hey, here's our goal for 2019. Here's the benchmark that we want to reach. It's getting every single person to work together, every single person in marketing, every single person in research and development, every salesperson, everybody on the team working towards a desired goal and not worrying about themselves. And last, I think a great example of leadership is an employee who simply shows up every day and confirms and creates the culture of that company. They don't have a position, they don't have a title, but they are having a significant influence on the culture around them. Using this definition that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, I think that every single person has influence. Therefore, every single person is a leader. The truth is that when you walk into work, you are either doing one of two things. You are either being a bad influence or you are being a good influence. You're being a bad influence by the way that you act, by the way that you treat others, by the way that you respond to the culture that is trying to be created by those around you, or you're being a good influence by helping confirm and conform the culture. Every single person can make a difference and have influence. Imagine this, when you walk into work every single day, you can do one of two things. You can discourage others or you can empower others. You can disappoint others or you can help others. You can distract others or you can lead others. You can hurt others or you can take the time to train others. Every single day you have a decision to make. Are you going to be a good influence or are you going to be a bad influence? And by doing that, you create your leadership opportunities. Every day you're doing either one of two things in your organization. You're either confirming the culture or you're corrupting the culture. Let me say that again. Every single day when you show up to work, you are either doing one of two things. You are confirming the culture or you are corrupting the culture. Here at Sea Life, we have 7 core values that have kind of guided us and shaped us in the direction that we want to take as a church. And I want to just look at a couple of these and just give you illustrations of how you could step up your leadership here at Sea Life and really confirm the culture that we're trying to create. Our first one here is to maintain spiritual vibrancy. We believe that it's important for you to have a personal relationship with Jesus. We ask that of our people, and we ask that of our leadership team. A second one here is to serve the team. Now, I want to give you an example of how this looks on a day-to-day basis. And so we have this as one of our core values, but the truth is it's not really a core value unless our people act on it. And so if you show up to work and all you're concerned about is getting your work done, and all you're concerned about is making sure that you get your task done, but you're not busy concerned with other people and helping them reach their goals, then you're really not serving the team. See, what you're doing is you're corrupting the culture that we've set out to create rather than confirming the culture. Because see, here's what happens is when you walk into work and you see somebody who needs help and you take 20 or 30 minutes of your time that you had planned out to do something, and you serve the team, there are people around you that are watching and going, you know what? That must be important in this company. And so next time when I need to serve others, I'm going to step up. But what happens is when people see you worry just about your responsibilities and you're not serving the team and you're not helping others, they realize that it's not really important. It may be on a piece of paper and we may say it's important, but unless they see it in action, they don't really believe it's a core value. A third core value we have here is to make it better. And I love this core value, and I think that's what makes Sea Life so great, is that we don't just satisfy for good. And so last year we had a great turnout for an event. We don't just say, hey, last year was good, let's try to do that. We always ask the question, hey, last year was awesome, how do we make it better? Hey, last Christmas Eve, we had record numbers. Great. How do we make it better this year? Hey, last week we had a great service. Okay, that's awesome. How do we make it better this Sunday? Some other core values: to learn and grow, to lead relationally, to commit to healthy staff relationships. And the last one I want to talk about here, to engage fully. See, here's how you can be a leader and influence on this culture, is that when you engage fully, when you show up to meetings and you take notes, people watch you and they start taking notes. But when you show up late, when you show up and you're disengaged, when you show up and you forget to do things and turn things on in a time, people start to believe that that is acceptable and you have a position of leadership and influence, but unfortunately, you're influencing them and leading them in the wrong way. At the end of the day, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. You have influence here at Sea Life, and you might even have more influence than somebody in a position because people are watching you and they're paying attention to the culture that you are creating. So I want to wrap with this. What stage of leadership are you at? I'm going to give you 5 stages, and I want you to ask the question, what stage of leadership are you currently at? Stage 1, you don't really know about leadership, and to be quite honest, you don't really care. Now, I believe by watching this video, you are not in stage 1. Stage 2, you now know about leadership and you care, but you still don't know what to do next. We're going to have some follow-up videos to give you some direction. Stage 3, you begin to learn that there is so much to learn about leadership, and you start your personal journey. Maybe it's getting on a personal growth plan or reading a book or attending a conference or finding a mentor. Whatever it is for you, find some way to develop your leadership skills. It's not going to happen overnight. John Maxwell says it may take you 20 years, but we want you to begin the process of developing your influence and your leadership. Stage number 4, your leadership starts to show. People start to recognize that you have influence. People start to recognize that you are making the culture and the creation of the organization much better. And then stage 5, leadership just becomes automatic. All of that time that you've spent, some people would say 10,000 hours, has developed you into a leader who automatically defaults to the right decisions. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I believe that every single person that walks onto this campus has potential to be a leader. You may not have a position, you may not have a title, but what you do have is you do have influence. Pay attention to the way that you act every single day. Pay attention to the way that you make things better. Pay attention to the way that you serve others, and recognize that by doing that, those around you will start to sharpen their game. Those who are attending this church will start to recognize that the culture that we have here is being confirmed by you, because leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Thanks so much. Hoping you're developing your leadership skills. We'll see you soon.